Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another edition of Applied Neolife. My name is Ese Zanambasi. The name of my brand is Simply Healthier. And by training, I'm a medical doctor. I'm very passionate about health and wellness. I'm also a mother, a wife, a grandmother, a sister, and a friend. And I thank you all for logging in. One of my passions is to connect the dots in our health. And so I've just put a verse there at the bottom of this particular slide. Please, all of you, look at it when you get off the presentation. But I just wanted to point out, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It is so important for all of us to renew our minds on a few issues. This month of October, around the world, it is recognized for all sorts of conditions, health conditions, and there are many awareness days. For example, it is known as the Attention Deficit and Hyperactivity Month. It is also known as the Bone Marrow Stem Cell Donation and Leukemia Awareness Month. And did you know it is also known as the Eye Care Awareness Month? All of us know that it is very well known for being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, all these awareness months and days and weeks, yeah? So we have a lot of awareness days as well. Just got me thinking, you know, when I realized that, oh my goodness, we all seem to be focused on so much sickness. So my tagline is to help people to shift their focus from sickness to health and wellness. And that's what I hope all of you would like to do. It is importantly, International Day, there's an International Day for older persons. And we also remember older persons throughout the month. I found that very interesting. So I'm actually going to focus on older persons. But as you can see, a lot of the conditions that we are aware of, such as Nutrition Week, World Mental Health Day, arthritis and bones and joint week. There is also International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. And then there's a week for remembering strokes and a World Stroke Day. So what does that tell us? I think it should tell us, and it is a loud call for action, a loud call to action, that all of us should become more involved in finding out why all these things are happening and perhaps finding a way to either prevent them or to reverse them if they're already happening. And I truly believe that all of us desire to live a more vibrant life, and adults, all of us who are adults, must lead by example so that our children can have a healthier and happier future. The status quo, and what I want us to renew our minds on, is that everybody likes to wait until something goes wrong, and then they'll line up for pills and surgeries. But the cue for lifestyle change, in which all of you should be heralding and really championing, is where we need to be. So we have a lot of work to do. So as we think of older people, I'm one of those, by the way. I'm one of the older people. We need to think of the importance of supplementation for the older persons, remembering very well that in October, right in the middle of October, is the National Nutrition Week as well. No single segment of our society can benefit more from regularly performed exercise and improved diet than the elderly. And I truly believe many elderly people, myself included, wish to spend a lot of our later years healthy. And we still have a lot to achieve. And so to achieve that, we should stop considering an aging population as a negative social phenomenon. We should instead consider older people as a wealth of knowledge and wisdom into which we would so dearly like to share and tap into for the younger generation. So factors that hamper the elderly from leading a healthy life include various psychological and social problems occurring in older age, as well as a higher incidence of disease. So I believe that we are losing out on such wisdom, such knowledge, such so many people that can lead our world by example. Now, I've just thrown this picture in the middle of this just to remind us of this connection. As I like to do, I like to connect dots. Now, the gut-brain connection is very, very important, and I brought it up front so that we don't forget it. Symptoms and signs of dementia, forgetfulness, other psychological and mental issues could be due to chronic gut dysfunction, particularly if there are several prescription and over-the-counter medications in individuals with a sedentary lifestyle. I've already mentioned the importance of exercise, and I will stress it again and again. So we're in for a lot of work. I'll start with joint and muscle pain, which commonly affects older people and younger people. So the constant non-specific muscle, joint, and bone pain or discomfort could be due to vitamin D deficiency, which speaks to poor nutrition. And then there are other associated symptoms, which may include lower backache, fatigue, difficulty to sleep, called insomnia, headaches, depression, okay? And those of us who have seasonal changes, winter months are notorious for people to become vitamin D deficient. And those of us who have darker skins may block vitamin D formation, and therefore supplementation would be important. So the ideal combination is to have sufficient exercise and a healthy diet. Physical activity and nutrient intake are both important determinants of health throughout life. Unfortunately, many people think that they can get by only by diet. Many of the alterations in physiological structure and function that occur with age may result from disuse and disability, as well as from diets deficient in energy, protein, and other specific nutrients. Although a healthy diet can provide significant health benefits, diet alone is not sufficient to provide optimal health, nor protect us from the hazards of a sedentary lifestyle. Conversely, nor is physical activity alone. This is just to emphasize that we need to strike a balance whereby we get adequate nutrition and adequate exercise. So now I want to give you some background information to help us to connect these dots that I so like to do. And we are going to talk about sarcopenia, And I'll describe what sarcopenia is. But sarcopenia is age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. And I'm sure all of you, when you look around at older people, you notice that their muscles seem to be shrinking and their strength seems to be declining as well. Well, the news is that sarcopenia begins in the late 30s and in the 40s. And by 70s and 80s, some of us are very close to 70s. Approximately 50% loss of muscle mass has occurred. And that is an important cause of functional decline and loss of independence, which is really not a good thing. So there is a graphic to show the loss of muscle, age-related loss of muscle mass called sarcopenia. Up to about the age of 25, the muscle is nice and big, but by the age of 40, there has been a decline, and it is about 8% loss of muscle mass between 40 and 70 every year. And thereafter, the loss actually accelerates. So we need to discuss ways of mitigating that, or even stopping and preventing it, reversing it. So let's think about this very, very carefully. Sarcopenia does not just happen suddenly. So we shouldn't wait until it has happened and then try and do something about it. Secondly, there is no single factor. There are usually multiple factors. And I say it can be prevented, and I also say it can even be reversed if one is willing to take action and to become proactive. So that's just another graphic to show a healthy young muscle in the thigh as opposed to an older one. So what is it with muscle? It's actually a very important metabolically active tissue. And it accounts for up to 60% of our body mass. Changes to muscle can have profound effects in older adults, such as loss of mobility, loss of balance, loss of strength, which will result in frailty and disability. And we don't want that. We really, really know that it can be quite a heart-rending situation to see an older person incapable of looking after themselves. So what happens as one grows older, in fact, is infiltration of the muscle by more fat, so that the fat to muscle ratio is altered quite significantly. And that is not a good thing. I'm just describing a phenomenon called sarcopenic obesity. It describes the loss of quality muscle due to infiltration of fat. And it is caused by a deficiency of branched chain amino acids that are involved in building muscle. And there they are. And also, it is therefore very important to supply all amino acids. Otherwise, the body draws what it needs from the existing muscles. And the result of that is that sarcopenia will happen. This is made far worse by an increasingly sedentary lifestyle with aging. So as part of the Neolife family, we should not be afraid to encourage each other and older people to do some exercise. Walking is a fantastic exercise, but with our lifestyle these days, a lot of people have opted to rather sit and develop that sarcopenia, which is so sad. So I want us all in the family that we belong to end the trend of chronic disease, because we know that sarcopenia is associated with insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is a big, big factor in a lot of disease processes, including dementia, Alzheimer's, and other dementias. It is also associated with fatigue, and especially in women, it is associated with rheumatoid arthritis. So let us connect the dots again. Many older people tend to slow down and they justify it, which is so, so sad. The loss of lean muscle, particularly what we call the fast twitch or type 2 fibers, which happen to be larger in size, can lead to age-related conditions. As I've pointed out, muscle is a metabolically active tissue. So one gets metabolic dysfunction, they will get changes in body composition, particularly if there is sarcopenic obesity happening as well, and then loss of balance and increased risk of falls. And we all know that once an older person falls, their healing is slower, and the danger of fracture of particularly the hip, a hip fracture, can be one of the things that will cause such disability and disease. All these can be combated by resistance training. That kind of decline can be combated by resistance training. Again, exercise is important. So we need every day to count our blessings, right? We know that the best doctors are actually given to us by our Creator. We have the sunshine, we have the need for clean water, fresh air, a good diet. And I just want to say that in our good diet should include supplementation, because as you all know, and particularly for the visitors to this call, you're all welcome. We have whole food sourced nutrition supplements, and our company is the leader in that area. Of course, adequate rest and enough exercise. Regardless of the age, we need to stress exercise. So, factors leading to sarcopenia, I just want to recap. Neurological decline, hormonal changes, effects on the body of inflammation, and the lack of exercise. And then there's some more factors as well, such as chronic illness. And I've highlighted poor nutrition, and again, fat infiltration of muscle and declining mitochondria. And mitochondria decline in number and quality if nutrition and exercise are inadequate. So that's just a picture to show that, yeah, in the mid-20s and 30s, one is nice and strong. It happens to be all men, but as time goes on, sarcopenia sets in, particularly if nutrition and exercise are inadequate, and that's what happens. Common triggers of disease conditions, just a quick recap. Top on the list is inadequate nutrients, inadequate mobility. Those two are so important because everything else will fall into place if nutrition and mobility are adequately part of the lifestyle. Then hormonal imbalances, bacteria overgrowth, heavy metal toxins, high blood sugar, that perhaps should have been higher up on the list, low-grade viral infections, and chronic allergic responses to food. I'm sure at some point in the future, and I have done so in the past as well, all those items can be tackled and the dots can be connected. But I just thought we should consider the common triggers of diseases. Now, if you remember that picture of people lining up to be given all the medications and perhaps even to be taken for surgery, it's a big, big problem. We call it, there's a problem called polypharmacy, where people, particularly the older people, they're on so many medications to treat this problem and that problem and the other problem. As we were trained to, for example, treat pain with pain tablets and then blood pressure with blood pressure tablets and all that. Yes, there might be a place for that, but I think there is urgent need for measures against polypharmacy, because that really adds to the challenges that older people face. The problems of adverse drug events, drug interactions, duplication of effects, and the presence of drugs that require particularly careful administration are all big challenges for the elderly, whom I have chosen to focus on today. And so we need to be so aware of that. Barriers to these measures include multiple medical institution visits for each disease, lack of coordination between the professions, and lack of understanding by patients and their families. So our work is massive to educate people and to connect those dots. So I want us all to join hands and connect dots together and to understand the root causes, and to also just learn that inflammation that goes out of control and out of hand is actually the root cause of a lot of the challenges that older people and younger people and everybody faces. So we have inflammation that is out of control and oxidative damage leading to disease. So once it becomes chronic, chronic inflammation can damage your body in many ways, including loss of muscle tone and sarcopenia that we wanted to discuss today. So I want us to ask a good question, because a lot of people are taking a lot of things. They even buy a lot of supplements, but whom can we trust? And for the visitors, I want to introduce you to the people that this particular family called the Neolife family have chosen to trust. We are privileged to have a scientific advisory board whose role is to research and develop absolutely all the products that we have. And we have so many products for nutrition, for home care, for personal care, and for skin. That is an amazing range, but all of them are researched and developed by scientists. The founder of this board was a top toxicologist and pharmacologist and cancer researcher who declared that a lot of things could be prevented. So he died at a ripe old age after devoting his life to a lot of research from which we are now all benefiting. So we have this as one of our greatest advantages as a family. Now, what they have taught us is that nutrition happens at the cellular level. Not many people have been talking this story, but Neolife, since its beginning, has been talking about cellular nutrition and emphasizing the human cell and everything within that cell and the membrane that controls whatever goes into the cell and comes out. And obviously inside the cell are the pieces of apparatus, if I can call it, called the mitochondria, which are very, very important in creating energy. So this is what they tell us, that a good triangle or wellness triangle The base should be supported by physical activity and proper weight management. That can only happen if we become so conscious of the role of our muscles and the importance of making sure that they're always in the right tone and well exercised. And then nutrition, we need all those nutrients, fruits and vegetables, protein, adequate and the correct fat and sugars as well. Unfortunately, because of the sedentary lifestyle, we are hardly doing any exercise, and instead we are eating way too much of the wrong types of fats and sugars. So what do we do about it? The net result is that instead of being healthy, we quickly slip into the tired and sick zones. And now if you're too tired to exercise because your cells don't have the energy to support your exercise, there's a problem immediately. So what happens is that we lose out on a lot of life, and we are maintained on a life, in our life for several years on perhaps inadequate nutrition and too many medications to treat the symptoms. So we need to change that. And that's where we are taught in this family to consider everything at a cellular level. So going forward from this time in this presentation, I'm going to talk a lot about nutrients that work at a cellular level to reverse an unhealthy cell into a healthy cell so that nutrients can go in and waste matter can come out, or the products of metabolism of that cell can exit the cell adequately and leave the cell healthy. And for the guests, we introduce to you our flagship product called TreeNN. Everybody has to experience this product. And when anybody should ask you, you have so many products, where do I begin? Always mention TreeNN, because it feeds the cells, it will enhance energy, and it improves nutrient utilization by a large factor. Now, we have leading edge whole food nutrition supplements. We have many. You don't need to know all of them. You don't even need to use all of them until you can build your business big and strong to use more and more, because this is food. It is food that works at a cellular level. So we can say, eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, you have to be eating ordinary food, normal food. But I just want to point out here that our modern diets have a lot of gaps. And that's why supplementation becomes very, very important. Now, for the older people, these are very, very important. I've talked about the right nutrition for the cells, starting with TreeNN, but we need to remember that muscles that we are discussing in this presentation need to be fed with all the 22 amino acids and other nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the correct fat, the correct amount of carbohydrate. And that is what we have in our Neolife Shake. Then, together with other things, Neolife is famous for the oils, the grain oils, the omega-3 salmon oil, and the carotenoid complex, which is an antioxidant to protect these oils and to protect the oils of the cells. Very, very important. And then, of course, we need vitamins and minerals. So I just want to now speed up a bit and show you that it's a great investment to invest in adequate minerals, adequate amounts of the right oil, and our omega-3 is spectacular in that it is complete. All the 8 omega-3 molecules are available in this one, and it is also 100% pure, because this company makes sure that there are no toxins, and it is extracted from the flesh of the fish. Very, very important, cold extracted. And again, that is the reason for calcium. Ours is double amino acid chelated to ensure that it is well absorbed and it is not irritating at all to the stomach or the intestines, and it is rapidly dissolved and dispersed to get to work. So it also has vitamin D. I pointed out that vitamin D is a big deficiency in a lot of people. This has vitamin D in it. So as an example, all the vitamins that one needs, very, very important. We have choice. And I also invite older people to consider additional products as the budget and the knowledge allow. But I want to say that all these products will make a big difference. For example, glucose balance. We pointed out that one of the reasons for sarcopenia or loss of muscle tone is poor glucose control or balance. Diabetes is very, very common, and so we have something for that. Something for the mitochondria. We've pointed out the importance. So for the older people, all of us have the responsibility to ourselves. I've pointed out that I am an older person. So I have to keep reminding myself about important issues such as avoiding refined sugar, avoiding glutens and other allergy or sensitivity causing foods, because that is one reason that disease processes set in and loss of muscle can happen. Eliminate triggers that might cause estrogen dominance and lead to a lot of inflammation. Support the immune system. Supplement with the right omega-3 supplement and antioxidants. All those are important. So I just think we need to encourage each other to begin community gardens, get people involved more for the exercise and the physical activity, as well as a good food supply, and then cover those gaps that will invariably occur in the diet with supplementation. So we need to become proactive, all of us. And just to show you, we have a good product called Supergrow, which can be used in our gardens. We also have amazing cleaning products that are non-toxic. I've pointed out that toxins are one way that disease processes are triggered. So resilience begins with a healthy home free of toxins. And that is something that we can share freely. So ladies and gentlemen, our age group, I fall squarely in that age group, have such a lot to offer. And the Neolife family is perfect. We are a family on a mission. We welcome everybody regardless of age, background. If retired, it doesn't matter what you used to do, you can come to this family. Because as we look ahead to our aspiration of reaching 100 years and beyond, we must think of ways to create a comprehensive society and community. Our aim as a family is to create an age-free society where everyone can play an active role. And I've already pointed out that the older people have a wealth of wisdom that we shouldn't allow to be hidden or even just to pass away just because their health is not up to scratch, okay? We can live in peace regardless of age, and I ask that we take our mission seriously to make the world healthier and happier. So go right ahead, share Neolife, Don't hold back. I hope that we can all get serious with what we are doing in this family. Thank you. I will stop the share.